Welcome to the Good Life Agoura Hills podcast. Join us each month as we discuss important city projects, programs, and initiatives with the community. We appreciate your support and thank you for tuning in.
Hey, what's up, Agoura Hills, and welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast, The Good Life Agoura Hills. I'm Ramiro Adeva, your Assistant City Manager. So, I often get asked, hey, Ramiro, what's the most enjoyable part of your job? And I could sit here and come up with a laundry list of things that I enjoy doing about being your ACM, but I always come back to one primary reason, and that centers around one word, and that's community. And in local government, we get to be a part of so many great partnerships and opportunities where we get with people who have that same passion for bringing something that's great for your community, frankly, for our community. And that's why I'm so excited about the episode today. So our special guest today is so inspirational. He's a model of resiliency, perseverance, and honestly, I just can't wait to introduce him to you. Help me welcome our guest today, Mr. Ryan Goldman. Ryan, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Thanks, Ramiro. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you taking the time, and I know that you're always scrambling around doing different things for the community, and so we really appreciate you taking the time to be on the podcast, so thank you.
I'm honored to be here.
All right, so listen, we are going to obviously be talking about the Morrison Park Playground Project, but before we get into that, you are at the forefront of that. You are a catalyst, you and your wife, and I know there's many players that are really making this project happen. But before we get into that, if you can maybe start with your story and why or how did you become involved with this project, that'd be awesome.
Well, first of all, I'm a local guy. Family moved to Agoura in 97, went to Lindero, went to Agoura High, moved away for college, came back in Agoura, right? I have a lot of roots here. But how we got started is 7 years ago, our son Skylar was born, and everything was perfect. Pregnancy was perfect for 9 months. But the day of labor, things got crazy. Lots of complications. So Skylar wasn't born alive and immediately resuscitated. Skylar and I were then put on a helicopter and we were flown to Children's Hospital where he was there for 45 days. I lived at the hospital for 6 straight days. After being discharged, he was given a diagnosis, cerebral palsy, epilepsy, and he currently feeds out of a G-tube in his stomach. He's a fighter. Skylar the Fighter, that's his nickname. But growing up with a disabled son, we didn't know exactly how to maneuver and kind of get through the system of having a special needs child. A life of disability is not a typical type of childhood. Everything is different. From eating, from feeding, from bedtimes to medicines, from doctor visits, all of that is different than a typical family. And we got through it. My wife and I, Lindsay, we persevered. And Skylar, he's a champ, and he was able to thrive. But when it came to certain things like playgrounds, just a typical thing where kids can hang out, we didn't necessarily have that place that we felt we belonged and we felt welcomed. So around COVID time, you got a lot of time on your hands, right? So we started doing some research, and we decided, let's build something here in Agoura. Something accessible, something inclusive, something for everybody. And from that point on, the ball started rolling. It's as organic, it's as grassroots as you can get in our small local community. And we want to build something that's a judgment-free, inclusive play space. And we're getting there.
Yeah. Well, I love it. And thank you for sharing that too, by the way. That backstory, it hits right in my heart. I have kids as well. And so, really thanks to you and Lindsay. And I think when this project comes to fruition, it's going to be amazing. And so let's talk about the project a little bit. So the Morrison Park Playground Project. Can you go ahead and let our audience in on really what that project entails? What exactly is it going to be when it's done?
To really get an idea, we put out a change.org petition. We wanted to kind of poll the audience, right? And we had an overwhelmingly positive response that people in the community really wanted this. We're going to remove the mulch, those wood chips. Those are going to be gone. We're going to remove the playground equipment as well. So we're going to have this blank slate We're going to operate in the same footprint of the current playground, but it's going to have that rubber flooring surface where a wheelchair or mobility challenged children or adults, because this is for everybody, this is multi-generational, will have the ability to access every piece of equipment. There's going to be handicap ramps. There's going to be some really, really cool brand new equipment that nobody in this community has ever seen before. So there is no step down to get into the playground itself. So it's going to be level with the surrounding walkways or grass. Someone in a wheelchair or somebody with arm crutches or whatever the situation is will be able to easily maneuver to be directly onto the playground surface. And then from that point, everything is accessible. It's all about participation. We want everybody that wants to be there to be able to access every piece of equipment. So there's going to be handicap ramps that will get you onto the larger structure. There's going to be this spinning orb. It's a fantastic piece of equipment. And there's an opening where there's an easy wheelchair transfer into it. There's going to be certain pieces of equipment that are at the right height for a wheelchair user. Now, typical families are not going to kind of notice some of those small things. They're going to say, brand new playground, this is awesome, the kids are going to love it, they're going to run around and have a blast. But the people who do need some of these adjustments to make sure that things are accessible and inclusive, they will really see those things. Where certain things are the right heights, where there's a board for Braille, where there's sign language board. It doesn't matter really what kind of disability that you have, there's going to be something for you. For example, we have a friend who has a cochlear implant, and I didn't know this, but this child can't go on a plastic slide because of the static electricity will impact the implant. So she needs a metal roller slide. Children that have autism, sometimes they want to be in kind of a closed space, maybe away from the noise, away from the hustle and bustle. So underneath some of the slides and equipment, we have benches where they can just have a little peace and quiet just to kind of relax. So some of these little things, people don't necessarily understand the reasons why they're there, but through Lindsay and I and our playground designer, Rec West, we came together and we tried to come up with the most inclusive playground design that'll fit that footprint.
You know, that's amazing too, because it really is in the details, right? I mean, like you said, for some folks, they may look at it and just say, oh, awesome, right? It's a new playground, and that's great too. But bigger than that, it's been so carefully thought out that there really isn't a playground like this in the region. And so that's an awesome thing to have, and it's so great that, you know, that you've chosen to do this project in our community. So that's great. And so thank you again. Now, you mentioned it earlier about how, you know, it's a true grassroots effort that's going on here, and that's the beauty of this whole thing. You know, the folks that you've been able to assemble, and projects like this don't happen alone, obviously. You've been able to partner with the city, partner with Rotary of Westlake. Can you talk a little bit about just, you know, what it means to you personally, the fact that, like you mentioned, you grew up in this area. I mean, you went to the local school systems here, and then now to be working with these partners, maybe talk about that, and then also what specific role do these partners play in making this project a reality?
So when the idea was snowballing, right, it was growing, this idea, I had to find a nonprofit partner, because I can't personally take funds, right? It has to go through a foundation. And I started doing research online, and it led me to a Rotary or a Kiwanis. And I looked up, there's no Rotary Club in Agoura Hills, so we went next closest, Westlake Village. I picked up the phone, I called the president, Mike Dutra, quick phone conversation, and he said yes, right away. We had our nonprofit partner. And from that point, we decided we got to make this official. We have to make this a legal agreement. So we got together with some other folks of Rotary, and we came up with a legal binding MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with the city of Agoura Hills. And that really solidified the relationship. That gave us the ability to start fundraising with the Rotary's blessing and with the city's blessing. And to have two of the big movers and shakers in the area on our side means a ton, because that shows that the community, A, cares, and B, will support. And some of these projects, they'll never get to the finish line without that support. So Rotary is our banking, essentially. So we have our foundation accounts. So all the money that we raise goes into a 501c3 account. They are the engine behind the engine, Rotary. And the city gives us the opportunity and gives us the platform to do a lot of wonderful things. Whether it's a booth at concerts in the park where we raise money, whether it's using the event center for a gala space, right? But even more than that, we have the support of the city council. We have the support of city employees. And that is tremendous because they're helping us get to a level. They're our partner.
So obviously, a project like this, it doesn't happen for free. And so, we talked a little bit earlier, a big part of being a 501c3 is having that ability to do massive fundraisers. So talk a little bit about the fundraising target that you're looking at for this project and really, where are we at to date on that target and meeting that? And then also if we can talk about what are some of the upcoming maybe fundraising opportunities on the horizon that people should be pausing right now and penciling into their calendars so that they can come and be a part of this amazing project?
So the dollar figure that we're looking to raise is $500,000. It's a lot of money. And when we started doing a lot of smaller fundraisers. We did some paint and sips. We did a lot of concerts in the park where we would sell, like for 4th of July, we sell all the light up toys and wands and swords. It's a great event. Concerts at the Park, Agoura Hills. And we've been building and building and building. But with that 501c3, it gives us the ability to apply for grants. We recently received $30,000 from Los Angeles County Supervisor's Office. Currently Lindsay Horvath, previously it was Sheila Kuhl. We able to get a grant through Jane Seymour's foundation, Open Hearts. And it gives us the ability to really get creative under that nonprofit umbrella. We've had several charity poker tournaments, raffles, auctions. We recently had one. So the last 3 tournaments that we've had, we've raised $25,000 combined. And everybody that's showing up they're all local. And all the raffle items, they're all local businesses that have donated their products, donated their services to help us keep growing that fundraising, right? Canyon Club has been a big supporter. We've done a couple benefit concerts where they will donate a big stack of tickets. And it's our job to go out and sell those tickets. And then they show up and we keep 100% of the ticket sales that we make. So we have another one coming up. It's a AC/DC cover band called Bonfire. Okay. Fantastic. So we're selling tickets on our own. You can't go through Canyon Club. You got to go through us. But we are selling tickets for that concert. We receive 100% of those proceeds.
Okay.
Our next poker tournament, it was so successful. The minute people are leaving, they're saying, hey, when's the next one? Yeah. So that one's coming up in September. Okay. We're working on a lot of stuff. Yeah. And really the best way to track what we're doing, to keep tabs on what we're doing, is to follow us on Facebook, to follow us on Instagram at Morrison Park Playground. We give a lot of content. We want to inform as much as we possibly can of what we're doing and who's supporting us, because we want to highlight, we want to give spotlights to all the people that are helping make this happen.
Yeah, and let me pause you there, because so the handle for that, you said at Morrison Park Playground for both Facebook and Instagram?
That's right.
Okay, so make sure you heard it right there. So make sure you get your tickets, you sign up, go check it out, be all in today, because that's just so amazing. So yeah, that's great. And we, props to just what you've been able to do so far.
Thank you.
We hope that everyone will get a chance to go ahead and attend one of your amazing fundraisers coming up. In the event that they don't, but they still want to contribute and they want to just make a flat out donation to the cause, how can they do that?
So if you go to morrisonparkplayground.com, there's going to be a tab that's called under Donate. And it will take you to a page called Give Some. And that is essentially like the GoFundMe for Rotary clubs. They take a smaller percentage, which always helps out nonprofits. And you go right onto our Give Some, and that's going to be our platform to take an online credit card donation. There's also a P.O. box in Westlake Village where if someone wants to send a check, they can do so. We receive checks on a weekly basis. So someone's always checking it, letting us know. And on that Give Some page, there's going to be that dollar total that's always changing. It's always increasing, right? Yes. So we're letting everybody know of how much money we've raised directly through that Give Some site. But that's not all the money we've actually raised. There's a lot of money that has been pledged as well that we're now waiting to receive. But it's concrete.
All right. No, that's great. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we're going to fast forward into the future because this thing's going to get fully funded.
Yes.
And when that happens, that's going to be a proud day for you folks, also a proud day for the city. It's going to be a happy day for the community. And when that day does happen, what's sort of the anticipated scheduling, you think, from a timeline perspective, that once it's fully funded and we start to see that new playground start to get built, how long do you think it will take from start to finish to complete?
Well, first of all, I think it's going to be fully funded by the end of this year. And I didn't give a shout out to some of the big money players. In May, the YMCA is hosting a golf tournament. And in 2024, the YMCA, the Yarrow, the Southeast District, their motto, right? Their mentality, it's all about inclusion. And they want to put that money towards a local project. And they've chosen the Morrison Park Playground Project. $100,000 from the golf tournament proceeds will come to us. In addition to that, the city has some, I think it's Measure A funds, don't quote me on that, something like that. And it's a six-figure number. And when you add that all up, I think we've just eclipsed $400,000. We've got over 80% of the necessary funding. And there's a lot of other grants that are in the works. There's a whole bunch of things that are pending. So with the money that we have and with the pledges that we've received, and the fundraising continues, I think we're going to hit that number by the end of this year.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so you heard that, folks, right? It's not an if, it's a when this project is fully funded. So why not be a part of it? And you've heard it right there from Ryan about all the different places that you can go ahead and either come to a fundraiser, make a straight donation, but be a part of this amazing effort. You won't want to miss it.
And in addition to that, we give recognition because it's so important. It's so important to remember who helped you get across the finish line. So where the playground sits, the site of it, there's a bathroom. And the walls that are facing the playground will be our legacy donor wall. And those plaques with those names will be there forever. As long as that playground exists, those names will be on the board. We got to give special thanks every opportunity we can. And recognizing our donors and recognizing our partners to us is the most important. Because without them, we wouldn't be where we are today. So that donor recognition, that legacy wall that'll be there forever, if you want to take your family to the playground, you can come to that sign, you can say, look, we helped build it. We helped make this happen. And it's going to be a beautiful thing.
Let me end off with this question. And it really has to do with success, right? And how we're going to define success when everything is said and done. When this project is put out there, you talked earlier about just this is definitely, it's a community project, and it's going to be something that is enjoyed for generations after we're gone, and it'll be such a testament to just, I think, what you've been through in life. And so really, I kind of want this personal perspective from you, right? You talked about, your personal journey, the story, Skylar the fighter. Shout out to Skylar. And so people might say, success for us is, we're going to raise enough money, or success for us might be when the last, construction, something happens and when we're done. But for you, Ryan Goldman, when you look at this project and when it's completed, what will success be defined in your own words?
Having a disabled kid, it's tough. You don't always fit in. Team sports maybe aren't the spot for him. So it's more individual, right? But really when I determine what success really means for us, for this project, just in general, is a togetherness. It's this inclusion where everyone's invited. Everyone's invited to play. Everyone's invited to participate. And Agoura Hills is a small community, and we're doing something for the greater Conejo Valley is what we're doing it. So when this project started, it was all about Skylar. And then as we started growing our network, it became also about Owen and Alyssa and Asher and Alistair and Emmy, all these other disabled children as well. So we started building this following. So it's not just about one family anymore. It's about a greater community. It's about inclusion. It's about everyone feeling welcome to participate and accessible with a judgment-free area, right? And it starts in Agoura and it starts in Conejo, but the idea should be a nationwide idea. So inclusion really means you don't have to be invited. You just are allowed to. It's more than just invited. It's more than being allowed. It's having the ability to bring your family, to join other families, to be a greater, and then everyone comes together and you can all enjoy it together. The idea is to build something where children can play with their peers, all abilities, socially thriving, physically thriving, emotionally thriving. And this playground will give us that footprint, that platform where everybody can come and enjoy. And you don't have to worry about, will it work? Will the wheelchair work? Will the arm crutches work? Will my kids be judged? So inclusion is the ultimate goal. And we're focusing on Agoura, we're focusing on the Conejo Valley, but really, we'd love to get this to branch out. It's a long-term goal, but it's something that we're really focused on.
Yeah, and I think that's beautiful. It's not the end, it's just the beginning. When this project ends, hopefully it's something that'll be the catalyst for more of these to come. And I thought it was you said it so eloquently about just what this really all means, right? It's a project that is rooted in love, in kindness, and inclusion. And we need more of that, not just here, but in the world. So appreciate you, Ryan. Appreciate you, Lindsay. And appreciate the crew and everybody. It's going to be a joyous day. And hopefully that day, like you said, is just right around the corner. We can see it. All right, Agoura Hills. So listen, I want to thank everybody once again for tuning in, but we thank you so much again for all that you do, and we can't wait to see you next time. And with that, we want you to keep living the good life.
In Agoura Hills.
You take care, everybody. Hey, thanks so much, Ryan.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man.
This
That's
is great.
Awesome. Yeah.
Catch up on previous episodes at AgouraHillsPodcast.com and hit that like button and subscribe to the Good Life Agoura Hills.